Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Final Fantasy VI. Max, this has been the most painful hiatus we've ever done, but I really wanted to finish up Mario RPG and begin our indie project. But man, I gotta tell you,
we were kind of neglecting Mario RPG for this one.
For this game. And now that we're back, though, it feels so damn good to be back.
Yeah.
I don't intend.
We're already past the Veldt, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
We did the Veldt, and
we're about to see some major shit go down. And let me think. We're about to see the Battle of Narshe. We're about to see Terra become an Esper.
We're about to close this up.
And we may get a good portion of the way to Zozo.
I think so.
Yeah. So let me see here. We just washed up. I don't think I'm supposed to go this way on the world map, right? I'm supposed to get on the boat, correct?
Oh.
In Nakia?
Yeah, I think you're right. Go south.
Yeah, just hop on the boat. And he'll offer to take me to Narshe. I think I got some weapon upgrades. Maybe I didn't get around to purchasing them, actually.
Maybe we check it out.
Yeah, I'm going to take a...
Just to make sure, because that can...
Yeah, because you can get some really
the
good...
The fight in Narshe can actually be sort of difficult if you're not
prepared. So I have that. Okay, so I did buy the weapons. Let's double check the armor here real quick. Move your ass. There we go.
I feel like with Edgar, you can... And maybe this was something I never understood, but I don't think using the tools really slows him down all that much at all. So I kind of feel like always use the tools for Edgar.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, you don't really have to, like, equip him all the time with a good sword or anything, or spear.
Don't think I need that, because the women are going to get the Magus hats. Locke is going to get the bandana. Iron Helmet goes to Edgar. Kenpo Gi. I don't have Shadow, I have to remember that. Silk Robe. That might be another one worth purchasing for one of the women. Of course, Celeste that would actually down her. She has the iron
in this
armor.
game there was no... I'm trying to remember, because we're like hopping from Mario RPG. This game had no hidden stats or anything in the armors. It was all about the accessories.
Well, actually,
the armor
I think
was simply defense, right?
No, it could.
Or I guess there was elemental things sometimes.
And it could do things like you have Protect or Shell equipped automatically.
Oh, that's true. But would it mention it, like when you're buying it? Would it come up in a description?
I don't think it would in the original. I think in this version it does, which is kind of nice.
Alright, because I noticed none of those really said anything, but at the same time, this is still kind of beginning of the game equipment.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see here. This guy should take me to... Here we go. Cool.
South Figure. Okay, close enough.
Maybe we get on the boat? You think after all
Hopefully attacked by no Leviathans on the way?
Yeah, right. You'd think after all the shit that these three guys have just been through, they would not be wanting to get back on the water.
That's true.
They've been down waterfalls through like the Serpent Trench and holy shit.
They've been like carried through a violent trench with piranhas.
Sabin just got washed ashore after being strangled by Ultros. I mean, holy hell.
Cyan's family literally just died from poisoned water.
Yeah, right. These are guys that do not want anything to do with the goddamn sea right now.
Yeah.
Alright, so now we do have the Battle of Narshe. Yeah, we've got everyone back together. Enjoy kind of the retranslation, but it's still pretty much what you remember. Banon is trying to get everyone to fight for the cause, and everyone just got kind of their own drama and baggage going on.
Yep.
I like how they don't call Arvis Old Man anymore. They actually give him his name.
Oh, yeah.
Which makes a hell of a lot more sense. Just Old Man. Like, who the fuck are you?
You don't know this person.
It's like, yeah, I'm going to be honest, sir. I never bothered.
Man.
Yeah, I never bothered to learn your name. You're nobody to me. You're like the background noise at a concert, okay? I just drone you out. Focus on the good part.
I don't care if you die.
Right? Oh, man. Brother! Sabin, you look horrible! And you smell like sea kelp. Yeah, fuck you. Oh, man.
So, like, who are these two people you brought with you?
Yeah, I'm apparently a father now, and this is just some old man that I picked up. I'm
Right?
Cyan. What do you...
I would have a lot of questions. This wild child.
Particularly about Gaw. I mean, like,
Mhm.
should we call social services, or what's going on? Oh, man.
Burke.
So, going back to our conversation from a minute ago when we were playing Adrift, there's one last sexy part of E3 that we really have to talk about, and that is Zelda.
Link's Awakening.
Well, so I wanted to give you the honors here, first off. The part that I think we'll have much less to talk about for right now. Any thoughts on the really brief trailer for the Breath of the Wild sequel first?
I mean, I guess it's not surprising that they're making the sequel. We've kind of like talked about it. They haven't done like a proper sequel since, well, I guess since like Majora's Mask.
Yeah.
Jeez. But at the same time, it's kind of like, wow, Breath of the Wild was such a runaway success. Like, how can you not follow it up? So I'm glad that they are, and I'm really excited about it. But just talking about the trailer itself, it definitely seems like they're going for kind of a darker tone.
Yeah.
And the trailer is, as far as the teaser goes, I loved it. You know, it's short and sweet and kind of just freaky.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was kind of my big takeaway. I really enjoyed how freaky and dark it was.
Yeah. And they don't have like a title. I kind of wish they would have, like, you know, something, and you could change it later, sure. Instead, it was just like, yeah, the sequel's in development. It's like,
yeah,
okay,
it exists. That's all we know, basically. And that apparently Ganondorf is going to be a part of it.
it looks like it. It definitely does look like it.
Or at least
I'd be, like,
Ganondorf's
surprised.
reanimated corpse.
Yeah, it's like if not Ganondorf, then who? It almost looked like a monk as well.
Well, so
which I
here's
wonder
my
in this
thing.
world.
Yeah,
That'd be weird if like Ganondorf was like instead of a. Well, there's no Gerudo. Oh no, of course there's Gerudo.
No, there are
I was like,
Gerudo,
I
yeah.
forgot all about the freaking Gerudo Desert and all that stuff. It's like, is he going to be Gerudo in this game? Is he like a? I don't know what it's going to be, because Ganon in the first game was very much this force.
So
you know?
then that was kind of my thought. So it seems like in Breath of the Wild, whatever Ganondorf was, he was no longer part of the picture. It was all Ganon. Like Ganon was like this evil entity, which they did establish in Skyward Sword. There's like something that causes Ganondorf to be reincarnated into Ganon multiple times, and that like evil entity had taken over, and just you really didn't see any humanity left in Ganon in that game. And so this one may explore that. So like what happened like to the mangled husk that Ganon was possessing. Let's see. And I don't know if it's going to be Ganon again, or if it's like some kind of different evil that's like reanimating his body. It's all speculation at this point.
Yeah, the look of it really looked like kind of one of the mummified monks to me, but maybe it's just literally a corpse or something.
I don't know.
But it would be interesting if they kind of changed his lineage in this game, that he was like Sheikah or something like that. That'd be kind of fucked up. But yeah, I wouldn't mind that. I'm really hoping we're not looking at more than 2 years development for this game, considering that they do have the assets. But at the same time, if it's anything like Breath of the Wild in its scope, it's a huge game, you know. And I would hope that they would change the world up a little bit.
So that was one thing that I'm wondering about. The developer said that he was excited to revisit the world. I'm not sure if it's going to be like the exact same world map, or like my guess is like kind of in the middle. Not like a totally new world, but we're going to get some like new sections and some like changes to the world map that we got in the first game.
If it's like pretty much the same world map, it's like, okay, that makes the most sense if you are exploring the whole thing. But at the same time, I hope that there's like some things added for whatever reason, like the stuff under the castle blew up and now there's like these crazy, you know, again, what we've talked about, our dream for a Breath of the Wild remake is pretty much Breath of the Wild, but with dungeons and that kind of inside exploration.
That would be the other big thing.
Items.
I'm really hoping that they throw some kind of dungeons into this one.
Me too. More than like the Divine Beast, which I don't consider dungeons.
Right.
Not really, because again, a dungeon has a theme, and these Divine Beasts, as inventive as they were, as cool as I thought the puzzles kind of were, they did not have a theme. I don't care if it's like one's in a volcano and one's in the... No, that's not a theme.
No.
That's geography. The enemies were all the same. You could expect to fight some guardians or something maybe, and that's about it. Like, aside from the whatever Ganon you were going to fight.
Right.
And you think about the games like Twilight Princess, Breath of the Wild, it's like you got this forest temple, you got some werewolves and some ghosts and stuff. The whole the look of it's a certain way, the music's a certain way, and then you get an item, and then you use that a certain way, and it's. I think Ocarina, like the old Zelda games, definitely had like a kind of a set of dungeons they did, and they were all so very different. And then Twilight Princess was like the most inventive, I think, with its dungeons. There were just some weird ones. But,
I really
they were all very different.
I really enjoyed Twilight Princess's dungeon design. Like, I think I've said this on the channel before. My favorite one from Twilight Princess was the snowy mansion, if you remember that.
Yeah, with was basically cool. the Yeti cup or something.
Yeah, the Yeti's home.
And you would just go between their home and then like a dungeon. It was like crazy.
Yeah.
Like how inventive. And then the desert, what was it? Not the tower, but it was like it was kind of like a tower, the place where you got the top.
Uh-huh.
That was a crazy cool dungeon. The item was one of the most inventive items in a Zelda game.
Uh-huh. The ball and chain.
There was the ball and chain you got in the ice place, I think, was where you got the ball and chain.
I might have zoned out there for a second. I thought that's what we were still talking about.
The desert one was the one where you got like the top that you stand on, and you would like find something in the wall, and it would kind of like take you places and spin you around.
Right.
And it was just like, what the fuck is this? This
is
so cool. And
that's
even
right. That was cool.
Something as simple as, what are we gonna get in the Sky Temple? Oh, a second claw shot. And it's like, really? That's it? And then you realize what you can do with that you're hanging from the ceiling and then you claw shot somewhere else. Like, this is the coolest thing.
Right.
So I really like Twilight Princess for that. But anyway, having Breath of the Wild and just all the crazy cool things that that game did with exploration and making you feel like you were the most free I've ever felt in a... you're going to put Gaw by this.
Yeah, Gaw's just playing defense. I literally just have Gaw run interference.
But you know what? Gaw can kind of... has some enemy skills where he can kind of handle some things by himself.
He can hold his own for a little bit.
Yeah. But, what was it? Yeah, like to mix... Don't take anything away from what made Breath of the Wild special and cool. No. Just add to it. Like, you can do that.
Right.
So, and if they do, maybe they are going to limit it where it's like, oh, the game's going to take place mostly underground or something. That would be kind of disappointing, but who knows? It could be, I don't know where you can, like, instead of being the same overworld but different things, I think that's the way they're going to do it, because otherwise it's going to be either going to limit you to this part of the world, or here's a new world to explore, which is the Catacombs of Hyrule or something like that. I don't think you can make a whole game about that.
No, or at least not an engaging one.
Yeah, I mean, Majora's Mask was all about this new, almost like dimension, basically.
Yeah.
So I don't know what Breath of the Wild 2 would be. Yeah.
And again, like, I don't know if they're going to straight up call it Breath of the Wild 2 or if they're just going to take it in a completely different direction, which is actually kind of what I'm rooting for, because, I mean, on the one hand, that the world that they created was huge and beautiful and wonderful, but I wonder how much more we could actually get out of it in a weird way.
Yeah. I get it. If it's the same world again, even if they changed up what you find, it's kind of like, oh, I remember this, oh, I've been here before kind of thing. Like, I get that. I feel like they would really have to change the topography of the world, like some crazy thing happening to it. Like, again, the bottom of Hyrule Castle kind of blowing up and those pillars showing up everywhere, and that's like the main focus or something. Like, I don't know. I have faith in Amore's team.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Anuma's team.
I'm definitely not concerned about the project. I'm just curious if they're going to try to bring back some kind of the more beloved elements of classic Zelda.
I hope so.
Me too.
I know they can mix them together, and the hardest part, I think, would be the items.
Yeah.
Like, if you have these classic dungeon scenario, like, I don't think they have to necessarily focus on an item,
No, I don't
but that's
think
how
so
they
either.
typically did. And if they did do that, it's like, okay, how do you have Link have a bunch of items without breaking the world? And I think you could do it. You know, you just have to be thoughtful.
Yeah, they just have to be creative. Oh,
I mean,
or
it's
make
just
the
like-
items less about traversal and more about puzzle solving.
Exactly.
So, you know, like
and
I
maybe
see a
they do
wall
some
with
cool
like a bunch of
things.
stacked boulders, then I know this is the time where I should use a bomb. If I see like a little target thing, then I have to use my bow and arrow to unlock this door. That could very
Yeah.
easily still be done in Breath of the Wild's world.
Or just make them, you know, maybe make a couple items. Like if you do have a hook shot, like, okay, think about the whole world with just this one item in mind, and make most of the items not like that.
Right.
You know, make most of the items, if you're gonna add like more than a few, make them limited in scope.
Mm-hmm.
Make an item that like makes a brick, but you can't move the brick all that much, and that's
Yeah,
it, or
right.
something. Or a hammer that's like can only break a certain type of rock. You know, something like that. You don't have to break the world with that. You just do the dungeon that it's meant to be done in, and then you add a few puzzles around the world where that particular item would come in handy. And
Right.
I think you're set. I think then you're good. I think they could do it without breaking the world. Something
think
like
so,
a hook
too.
shot would be,
And I
would
think
be
it-
the most difficult thing.
I think it would behoove them not to.
Yeah.
Like
It's-
they've got to grow it. Like I will. The only way that I will be disappointed with the game is if it really is just like really fancy DLC for Breath of the Wild.
Exactly. Like really
Which they
fancy
could do.
DLC and like all new story, but the assets of the game and the world are completely the same. I'd be like, this doesn't constitute a sequel.
Yeah,
This
I
is
wouldn't
just
be
really
down for
this
that.
is just really nice DLC that I'd pay $15 for at the most.
Right. And again, I know that game has DLC, and I've actually heard it's pretty good DLC, but
Yeah.
I'm- it didn't really scratch my itch. Like one extra
Yeah.
dungeon and or not really even a dungeon, just
I played through. Actually, I still haven't beat the first DLC when it came to powering up your Master Sword. It's
yeah,
actually kinda
that's right.
difficult.
Powering up the Master Sword, yeah.
The second one definitely had some story, and I played through it just so I could do the story, and I did like the story. It had kind of a nice end. I do consider the ending of the second DLC as like a really fitting end for the game.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just a nice little thing, and it's like, oh, that's cute.
Right.
It really feels like
No, not
something
what
they
I meant to
haven't
do.
done in the game yet. Hopefully, it's not like another writer. Okay, yeah, just some bullshit in his dog. But
but
I like the
Locke,
second
Celeste, and
DLC.
Sabin are gonna be jacked. Holy crap.
But at the same time, the dungeons that they added with it, there were nothing special at all.
Yeah.
You know, even the boss that they added in the second DLC was like cool. It was pretty cool and surprising, but it wasn't.
What was it?
anything
I don't
huge.
actually care about spoilers.
It was the last dungeon that you did had, because they added like 4 new little dungeons or you know, shrines where you could get orbs, so you could get another heart piece or stamina if you wanted.
I see.
And then there was a final dungeon. You had a monk at the end, and you talked to the monk, but then the monk started moving and was just like, I'm gonna test your skills.
Oh crap,
Yeah.
that is kind of cool.
So you fought like one of the monks for the first time, but it was like crazy, and it would grow in size, and it would like do ninja shit where there'd be like 30 of them trying to attack you.
Oh wow.
So and it was definitely the hardest boss of the game, but it wasn't exactly difficult.
Really, I
and then you-
actually found Calamity Ganon to be somewhat challenging. Not the pig version at the end where you just have to shoot him once, but like
Yeah,
the actual fight.
Yeah, and I'm glad it did have some challenge. It wasn't like super easy by any means. I feel like when you're fighting a lot of things and you get used to the timing and having a lot of resources,
Yeah.
it wasn't like extremely difficult, but at the same time, it wasn't a pushover.
Yeah,
If you weren't paying attention, it would just kill you pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So,
that was one thing I definitely enjoyed about that.
yeah. I think I you know, at this point, I'm so jacked that I could just be like, I'm gonna throw 1,000,000 bomb arrows your way, you know, and just avoid everything. But it is fun to reflect back lasers and
Oh,
to
yeah.
get the headshots and to what else?
It's a fun fight.
guess
Like, it actually engages
yeah.
you.
To do shield bashes and to do the avoiding at the last second to do the flurries. Like the fighting in that game is a lot of fun. Something I didn't
way
expect.
different from previous Zeldas, and I really appreciated that. So there was like some definite trade-offs with that game. Like you lose the dungeons, but you lose the dungeons, but you gain like the best combat that the series has ever had.
Yeah, you definitely do. It definitely is the best.
You lose like some of the population of the world and like some of the feeling like that. Hey, this is like a, kind of a medieval castle land. But the trade-off is you get a big, beautiful, open, if somewhat isolated feeling world. Mm-hmm. So
some of the trade-offs seem to serve the game, like the population.
Yeah.
But then there's also, you and I have talked about the music. I would never buy the soundtrack to Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, right.
Even though it's a calming ass game, and just playing with and hearing the sounds of nature and everything, it's like, yeah, it really really puts you at ease. But there's no soundtrack to speak of, not really.
Yeah. No, there's really not. Now contrast that though to what I really wanted to talk about, which is Link's Awakening. That game, even though it's a freaking Game Boy game, has one of the best soundtracks in the whole series. And among other things too. Go ahead.
I'm gonna gush about this game a little bit, so I think
I want to hear it.
In order to do that, I really just need to get the bad out of the way, which is not much. But I'm just gonna get out of the way so I can gush. The dungeon builder, it seems like, doesn't need to be there. It seems kind of simplistic.
It's kind of like a half-baked thing. It's not quite Mario Maker-esque, but
it kind of seems like, because the game's going to be $60, which is like my other small gripe, is game's going to be $60, so they're putting in extra content for extra content's sake. Or it's like, okay, we got to justify this cost somehow.
Right.
Which is like, guys, you're building the game from the ground up. Like, I get it. I wish it was $50, but whatever. I'll pay $60
I'm still
going to
pay. I'm still going to buy it on release date. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you're talking about the soundtrack. Oh my god! When that trailer first came out, I'm like, oh sweet, all right.
I cried a little bit.
Me too. I got a little. I was like, this sounds like it was all at once. You knew what the song was, and it was definitely different.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're like using almost like some of the same instruments or sound effects.
Yep.
Like it almost sounds like Game Boy,
it does.
Like they're going straight from that. It's
so here's the thing, how like certain games, like you hear them or you see a certain scene or a certain part of it, and it like immediately takes you back to like where you were when you first played it or experienced it. Like right now,
it takes you to a very specific emotion.
Yeah. So with Final Fantasy VI, like what we're seeing right now, this scene, this part, takes me back to my grandmother's apartment in Pittsburgh. The funny thing about this game was when I got it, I was actually looking for Final Fantasy IV or 2 in the US. Like you would introduce me to it, and I was like really obsessed with it. I really wanted to play it, and so we went to a game store in Pittsburgh with my grandma. It's like, well, here's Final Fantasy 3. Isn't 3 better than 2? And I'm like, I guess. Not realizing that I was getting the much superior game.
Oh, yeah.
And, and I played it. I got addicted immediately. Like, so much so that I think we were just in Pittsburgh for, like, a long weekend. And I got to this part. I actually think I got all the way to Vector. In my grandmother's apartment, in her, like, little tiny closet bedroom, with this like tiny ass tube TV. And so like as we're playing this, I feels like I'm in that room. Like I can smell her cigarettes and and I can see like the air conditioning running constantly, and it's just that palpable to me. And
that's
so
awesome.
when I heard that music from Link's Awakening and saw the scene where Marin is waking him up on Koholint Island, I went back to Easter 1998 or 9 or somewhere in there, whenever Link's Awakening DX came out for the Game Boy Color, because that's actually the version that I first played. And so I had my Game Boy Color, and I was all excited, and my dad got that for me as an Easter gift. Like, he asked me, like, what candy I want. Like, well, I don't know if I really want candy. I'd really like a game for my Game Boy Color. He goes, all right, same price, might as well. And he picked up Link's Awakening DX, and so...
oh, nice.
Yeah, so
good good going.
Oh, hell yeah. And so Easter of that year, I just got super, super into it. And we were at my aunt's house in Columbus, Ohio, and she lived in like a freaking McMansion. And so I just hung out in her basement, like away from all of my relatives, and just played this game. It was
Nice.
awesome. Yeah.
It's fun. It's kind of like how a lot of gaming was when we were kids. Is you just like, you hide away a little bit, and it's just like, I'm gonna get so engrossed in this to the detriment of my life.
Yeah,
but
we joked about it a little bit, but like it was kind of like a high score girl kind of thing for me. Like I love my family. I got along with them well, but that was just my time to like not think about school or friends or drama or anything like that. Just retreat into this game and like really
especially
enjoy it.
when it was something like this that was just like, oh my god, the new Final Fantasy, or oh my god, the series I like, this game, the story I can't get enough of. You do kind of retreat into it a little bit. And just couldn't get enough of it. And I like the story of your grandma's apartment, where it's a little closet of a bedroom, but it's like you made do on your tube TV, and it probably wasn't even a problem. Just
no,
like,
if
oh my
anything,
god,
it
I get to
actually
play
kind
this.
of felt. It kind of felt more like I was like entering the world of FF6. And there's one other game where I can think about that, where like the limitations like in my budget and like what I had around me actually helped the experience, and that was Metroid Prime. When I played that, it was at my mom's house, and you remember my bedroom at my mom's house. It was pretty small, and I had that. It was kind of the same situation. I had kind of like a smaller tube TV, and I would just sit at the foot of my bed and play video games. And and for that, it really felt like I didn't play a whole lot of FPSs like ever, and so Metroid Prime was kind of a unique experience for me. Like it felt like I was like
this
looking.
Room is awesome. That's right.
It is, yeah. It really
and only that chest you don't get until World of Ruin, I think.
Yeah. But for Metroid Prime, it really felt like I was looking through Samus's visor at this world, and it was really cool because I think
is
I
it
even
just
played
because
it,
you were sitting so close to
I was
the
sitting
TV?
so close. Yeah, I played it in the dark and just stuff like that. I would like use those weekends at my mom's to really get into certain games, and that was
I get that. I totally get that. It's maybe just the I don't know, the the vibe. I feel like certain arcades enhanced games, like a dark seedy arcade, or like
and like no doubt,
or like even our imagination enhancing certain PlayStation games or something where the graphics are not the greatest, but it's just like that's what made Silent Hill kind of scary. It's just like what's going on around the corner,
Right. And no doubt you've noticed for me. Like whenever I'm reviewing a game or talking about how good I think a game is, like the atmosphere of the game is a huge part of that for me.
Yeah.
And precisely for that reason is that like during the PS1 era, like I felt like I was being like sucked into these games. And that's most of what made it so cool. So even though the graphics were extremely limited, like the limitations of the technology really forced the developers to be creative with how they use the tech. And so what they didn't have in like detail or fidelity or pixel count or anything, they more than made up for just in the fact that, wow, these games just absorb you.
Yeah. And I know we talked about FF7 Remake a lot the last episode. As I think about, you talk about PS1 and pre-rendered backgrounds, and that's where a lot of artistry came in.
Yeah,
it's
really
like,
did.
Okay, here's this part of the game.
They got a lot of mileage out of those,
town you're going to explore. So how are we going to make it look alive? How are we going to give a feeling to this place, to this world, to this town? And so pre-rendered backgrounds was the answer a lot of the times. And you could have really shitty, you could have something like Castlevania, what do you call it? Edge of what is it? Something of Darkness? I can't even think of the PS2 game.
Oh, Curse of Darkness, yeah.
Curse of Darkness. And I know that was like, that didn't have pre-rendered backgrounds, it was all explorable, but just the feel of that game was very
static.
Here's
that was bad.
Yeah, very, very like gross, like ugh,
It felt like you were marching down corridors with like wallpaper themed after like a medieval town. It was bad.
Yeah.
And to be honest, that's actually, having replayed it really recently, I actually kind of feel that way about the first Kingdom Hearts a little bit.
No, you're right. You're right.
Like I like the game overall, but like the Disney worlds, like most of them, not all of them, but most of them feel really, I don't know if cookie cutter is the right word, but
It's kind of like there's a Lego set or something of each world.
yes,
That it's just like, here's a little diorama, only now you're exploring this diorama as if it was the whole world. And It's just
Right.
like, no, this doesn't do it. Like, think about Mulan's world. And in Kingdom Hearts 2 even had the same problem.
yeah,
This is
to a
just the
lesser
PS2
extent,
where it's
but
like,
yeah,
here's China. And
Here's
it's like,
China.
really? Here's just some bamboo, some camp, a little winter mountain, and the Imperial City. But it's all so small and so kind of
by that
samey.
drill, hell yeah.
I know there's I know there's like all these different worlds, but it is just corridor after corridor, and it does feel very samey. But then you have games like, again, going a little back to the PS1, and you have like a game like Final Fantasy or Resident Evil is just like, okay, it's gonna make it look scary and make just this house look detailed.
Yeah.
But Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII, these pre-rendered backgrounds bring this world to life, especially these ones that are like supposed to take place in some kind of fantasy future.
Right.
It brings Wall Market to life.
Yeah,
we were
and
just
like I
talking
said,
about that.
like Final Fantasy, the PlayStation 1 trilogy of Final Fantasies wouldn't have been the same at all if it weren't for the pre-rendered backgrounds.
No,
Like,
you
they
wouldn't
were
get the
able
sense
to
of
they
the
were able to
world.
like transcend the limitations of that era of 3D gaming. Like
Really?
if it had looked like
It made
Mario
places seem
64,
bigger?
yes, oh absolutely.
It-
if it had
it
looked
made
like
it feel
Mario
like it stretched
64,
forever.
yeah,
Yeah.
it would not have done well with like a Ocarina of Time or Mario 64 style of
No.
environment. Like
Yeah,
at all.
and
like they couldn't have gotten
it-
the level of detail that it needed.
It's different. Like, exactly. Final Fantasy, it's telling a story. You want the world to seem big. Mario 64, it's like, hey, you can explore all this. Here's a great, control scheme for Mario for the first time, and
Yeah.
and we're gonna like reinvent 3D.
Right,
But
and
Final
I
Fantasy
didn't
being-
need for Mario 64. I didn't need like a giant open world to facilitate the
Exactly.
story. Like I just
Yeah.
needed the set pieces and the stages, which they did wonderfully.
Yeah, but if it's like Midgar or something, was
Yeah.
all it was just like the corridors that you literally explored
Yeah,
without, and it was just like, okay, here's some wall textures and that's it.
right. And some like
Would've been
machine, like
I'm
little
supposed to
gizmos turning in the walls or something.
Yeah, it's just like, this doesn't do it anymore.
No.
Like, we're supposed to be, but no, they did so well to make it seem like it was a breathing world. Even though you weren't literally exploring it, you felt like it could just go for miles.
I
you
still
would see the
consider
backgrounds.
I still consider Final Fantasy IX to be the most artistically beautiful game in the series.
Oh my god, I'm thinking about Lindblom
Oh
when you
my
first
gosh,
get there,
yeah.
and
Absolutely.
that city just feels alive.
Mhm.
You got all the airships going on. It's just like, this place is humongous.
In fact, if they ever do like proper remakes or remasters of like the SNES games, I kind of hope that's the direction they take with it. Like, make them hyper detailed, make them 1080p or whatever, but make it pre-rendered. Like that's how I would
Yeah.
do that. That would be so cool.
I think about, I feel like I've asked you this before. You ever play Bait and Kados for the GameCube?
I know of it, but I have not played it.
That's this is GameCube era, so they're starting to experiment with like FF12 and stuff. Where like, hey, we're gonna Kingdom Hearts.
Right.
It's gonna mostly be explorable.
FYI, I know
um,
we're missing most of it, but this is one of my favorite scenes in this game.
Oh, this is a good scene. You're right.
Yeah.
This is
So, but
almost
sorry,
brings a tear to my eye.
I know, I love this part, man. It's so beautiful.
Bait and
like the
Kados was
relationship
just
they
a-
have. Go on.
Bait and Kados was just a 480p pre-rendered background, RPG like that, where it's just like all these different towns, beautiful pre-rendered backgrounds.
Huh.
And it just did the best that way, for the GameCube. It's
Yeah.
like I respected it for that. It
Like
was-
with the Resident Evil 1 remake.
yeah,
Just beautiful,
basically.
awesome pre-rendered backgrounds.
Although that was on a crazy level.
On a different
Like,
level, okay, yeah.
That game was 5 years ahead of its time.
Oh, yeah. Like, to the point where, like, if you pop it into your GameCube today, it still looks good. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, they really didn't have to do a whole lot with the HD remaster. I'm glad that they did. That they
Yeah.
put as much love and care into it as they did. But
Some things
but
they
didn't have
kinda-
to.
And in fact, the pre-rendered like movies that they had on newer TVs
Yeah.
looked really washed out.
Yeah, a
So
little bit.
they had to redo them.
Yeah.
They literally were like, instead of these movies, we're gonna make graphic assets.
Right.
So instead of this movie of a tree moving, we're going to make a tree and make it move in the same way.
And really,
So
that is how you do a freaking remaster.
they put some love into that.
Yeah, Resident Evil 1 on the PS4 is probably my favorite rendition of that game. Period.
Oh yeah, the remaster on
Yeah.
PS4.
Yeah, the one that Nick and I played through on Play the Hits. Like 10 out of 10, perfect remaster of that game and of a Resident Evil game in general. So,
Yeah.
It took
Have
what
you
was
played-
already one of my favorites in the series and just made it that much better.
Have you played the new Shadow of the Colossus, just the HD remake?
I have actually. I own it, and it's really good.
What do you think? Okay.
It's great. Like it doesn't take any risks whatsoever. It literally just rebuilds the game as though it were a PS4 game, and it does make the controls a little bit more approachable, which I actually appreciate.
I can appreciate that. I remember that being a little
clunky.
like with the climbing
Yeah.
and running, just doing a lot of weird stuff with the on the top of the controller with the shoulder buttons.
Yeah, and to be fair, you still do get some of that, but it's not as bad, and it does it really well. But
because the game looks very pretty.
Yeah,
You know,
it is. Oh,
but
it's a gorgeous game.
it doesn't seem like it's a full it's a remaster. Yeah, it's a
It's not
but
a
no,
remaster. It's a remake.
It's a remake.
Yeah, the
It's a
PS3.
remake.
The PS3 was the remaster, and then PS4
Yeah.
got a full-on remake.
They had an HD remaster, and then they did a remake, but the remake doesn't like remake the game necessarily, even though it literally does
Yeah,
from the ground up.
it's
But
the
it doesn't
same
try to
exact game,
change any
just-
ideas.
Yes,
Yeah,
correct. Not certainly not the way the FF7 remake is going about it.
yeah. Because the HD remaster was like, oh, cool. They made it look good for this generation, one generation later.
Yeah.
But the remake is just this is a PS4 game.
Yeah,
Like, that looks
I
beautiful.
appreciate that kind of dedication to the craft of gaming, because they were like, yeah, we could just polish up the PS3 version a little bit and put it here on the PS4, or we could just rebuild the whole fucker, and that's what they decided to do. That was so
Yeah.
awesome. That was such a great choice.
And for a game like Shadow of the Colossus, where it's just like, yeah, it was a popular game, but it's not on the level of like God of War or something
No.
like that.
So the
you
fact
know,
that they
very
put
much
that
more an
much
artistic
care-
venture.
Yeah, the fact that they put that much more care into it was awesome. I really appreciated that.
And I gotta play it because that was one of my favorite games on the PS2.
Yeah.
I love that game.
And so getting back to kind of the main point that we were talking about and that we've kind of overlooked,
Yeah.
I feel like that's what they're doing with Wind Waker. Link's Awakening. They are putting
Yeah.
a lot of love into what I've seen
Oh my
so far.
god.
Did you watch?
And I'm glad you like the graphical style.
I love the one thing I
Me
don't like
too.
about the graphical style is Link's face, but whatever, I don't care.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
if they want to give him little Lego eyes, that's fine, whatever. Overall, though, like, I love it. I love how it almost looks like a child's play set, kind of thing, or
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it. Like the style that they're borrowing from is actually from a game on the PS3 that I think was a ripoff of them in the first place, which is
Like 3D Dot Heroes?
Yes, 3D Dot Heroes. That's exactly what I'm thinking of.
Okay.
I don't think
Yeah,
I can
it's
cure
kinda-
zombie.
Oh, no holy waters or anything, huh?
I don't think I have any holy waters.
Yes, you could just kill them with cure.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to do that.
But what was I gonna say?
Wait, is it
Oh,
Cure that
yeah,
kills him
you're
or
right.
Phoenix Down that kills him?
A Phoenix Down will kill him as well, but Cure will. What? That doesn't kill him?
No.
Oh, because he's 0. Okay, so I guess it is
It's a waste of Phoenix
Down.
Down on him, damn.
Seriously, those things kind of cost him some money.
Do.
And this guy will just zombie you like.
Oh!
What the fuck?
Alright, we're getting out of here. I'm just gonna go back to Figaro and revive Edgar here.
Good job, Celeste.
See
Yeah,
ya, Edgar.
that's no good. I mean, he can still attack and everything, but he's just not going to get.
But yeah, he's not going to
experience.
get any XP. I can't believe I wasted a Phoenix Down. That was dumb. Anyways, yeah. So I really love the style of what they're doing. The graphics just tickle my nostalgia bone.
Yeah, me too.
And as well as everything about it. And it's very clear that they're not just polishing up what was originally there. They're full on like refining it. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
they're like, here's the aesthetic we're gonna go for, which I think is perfect. It looks like 3D Dot Game Heroes. It just reminds me of like this is almost like a children's book or story, something like that. And I think that fits the feel of the game for sure. And for me, maybe it's not for everyone, but I think for me as well is I was a kid when I was playing it.
Right.
See, the feeling
here.
I get is I'm going back to for some reason it's my Aunt Mo and Uncle Matt's house.
Okay, cool. I
laying
love
on
these
their
stories.
couch.
I really do.
and it's just like, for me, it was the original. And I have to admit, I've never, I played a little bit, but never beat the DX version.
It's the exact
very
same.
pretty.
It's the exact same game, except for 2 editions: the Game Boy Camera, which I never had, so I didn't use, and then the color dungeons.
Oh, like new dungeons?
It was like one new dungeon. Oh crap! It was one new dungeon that you could get either a red tunic, which raised your attack, or a blue tunic, which raised your defense.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
and those are actually being included in this version, so you'll actually
Sweet.
get to see that, which is pretty cool. I'm kind of holding out that there's maybe a dungeon they haven't shown us that they're adding. I would love that. Like if there was maybe like a challenge mode dungeon where you get to take all of the tools in the game and like you have to use them all in like conjunction. That'd be awesome.
Like a Ganon's Tower kind of dungeon or something like that.
Yeah, so that was the unique thing
Use
that I
everything
really
you got.
liked about Link's Awakening, is that it played with item combinations in a way that really no other Zelda did, except for the Oracle games, which were basically direct sequels to...
Yeah, I feel like there was definitely some puzzles, like I mean, it was the Game Boy, so it was kind of limited.
Like that you could shoot the bombs with your arrows and, make like projectile blast. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, things that they, I feel like, again, I don't know if it was because it was the 2-button that they did things a little bit differently, but I mean, things that I thought would have been so cool on the Super Nintendo that they did only in Link's Awakening.
Right.
But yeah, I have a lot of memories just like playing the original Game Boy. There's no backlight or anything on it. Fairly inconvenient playing it in the car at night, just waiting to get under the streetlights. But
oh yeah, the old Game Boys without backlights.
I had so much fun playing a lot of games on the Game Boy. But yeah, Link's Awakening was like the best game. It was Zelda on the portable.
Oh yeah.
What's not to like about that?
That's incredible. And the fact that they did it in a way that it didn't feel like a stripped down version of Zelda, like it was every bit as deep in a lot of ways as Link to the Past. That was a real achievement for its time.
It felt like Link to the Past, but at the same time it didn't.
Right,
and not
it
in a
had
bad
its own
way.
thing.
It also it had its own special thing.
Yeah.
And the music was definitely a big part of that because it was also very
music.
different from Link to the Past.
Yeah.
It was just kind of magical music. It was
the theme when you climb the mountain to get to the windfish. Oh my gosh, that gets me so pumped.
Oh yeah, I think they have that song in Smash Brothers, and like a pretty cool remix of it. It's
that was just awesome. But I like come
nothing
September,
to dislike about that
I'm
game.
gonna kind of clear my. In fact, I think that may be a game that we might want to do a day one let's play of, like we did with Resident Evil 2.
Oh yeah.
Just drop whatever else we're doing for a little bit and really get knee deep into Link's Awakening again.
Yeah, just to see how it hits us,
It's gonna it's gonna make us feel some things, I'm thinking.
The trailer definitely did. The first time when it got announced, it was definitely like, all right, this is awesome. But then this E3 trailer was like, okay, here's the game. Here's
did
kind
you
of
watch
the trailer.
Did you watch the extended gameplay demo?
No, I didn't.
It's like 20 minutes long. It's awesome.
Oh,
man.
nice.
Check it out. It's this girl, and she does walk you through some of the new stuff, but overall, it's basically what you and I are talking about. She's just going through, and she's like, she makes Marin sing her song, and she's like, oh my gosh, you guys are gonna have to forgive me because I'm gonna tear up a little bit remembering this song. I'm like, holy shit, dude! And that's exactly how I feel about this.
Yeah, There's probably a limited amount of games that will make me feel that way, and for whatever reason, this is one of them. I think also because it is like a faithful recreation.
Yeah.
And it's not like, oh, here's the remaster, because it's absolutely from the ground up.
Oh yeah,
but they're just doing it in a way that how would this game come out
today? Right.
If it would be like completely have the same essence, how would it come out today? And this is the answer. And I think the answer they arrived at totally makes sense, and I love it.
Oh yeah, without question. Yeah, I could not be more pumped for that game.
Yeah.
Okay,
there's
a band is kind of useless, actually.
Were you kind of surprised? I wasn't, but as far as like not hearing anything about Prime 4 for with their Direct.
I think Prime 4 is dead in the water, or at least in its current form.
They said that first I think it changed developers. So it went back to Retro Studios because it was somebody else.
I remember that. I remember you say. I remember the announcement about that.
Yeah,
it was like, we're just not doing this justice. Yeah,
it's a good thing ultimately, and I think Nintendo, they don't want, especially one of their mainstay IPs. They're protective.
Yeah.
For good reason. So even if all this work went into it, if they're gonna say, yeah, this is never gonna see the light of day, then that's what's gonna happen.
Right.
And that's what happened.
Pretty much.
I was a little more surprised. That didn't surprise me. I was a little more surprised about Bayonetta. I thought we would have heard maybe a little something, and it would have been 2020 because I knew that game wasn't coming this year. But to not hear anything, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was one of the things that I said to you that I was expecting to see there. We didn't, though. You're right.
Yeah. I thought we would have too. I thought we would have seen a little. Because all we got was not even a teaser. We got like the number 3, like
just
years ago.
Roll or something, yeah.
Like I think like 3 years ago, maybe. Like when we got that, when the Switch, or 2 years ago, I guess. Like when the Switch first came out, we got that kind of announcement. It's like, all right, cool. But yeah, not even like a tiny little teaser or trailer. So
yeah, literally nothing. But
we'll see.
Yeah.
They also got the rest of this year, and that wasn't their last direct. They got to hold on to something for future directs this year.
Right.
So I'm pretty confident we'll see something.
And it's Nintendo. 3. They've always got something cooking on the back burner that they're kind of holding off on.
They do, and I'm really glad. Like
Nintendo does not use E3 very often for its major announcements. They like to. Well, for one thing, they like the what's the Japanese one at the end of summer called? Not Famitsu. What am I thinking of?
Tokyo Game Show?
Yeah, thank you. Tokyo Game Show.
Yeah, they
tend to announce things there.
They're gonna hold on to something.
Yeah, or they'll just make it on some like random Nintendo Direct.
Some random. Oh my god! Like that's what they go. They definitely like don't play by the rules.
No, it's kind of fun because it's sort of like a mini E3 every couple of months. It's just whatever they feel like doing.
Sometimes they'll announce it 2 days whenever they freaking feel like doing it, and then sometimes they don't even announce. Most of the time, it's like 2 days before. Hey, we're gonna have a direct about Pokemon. It's like, what?
Right.
Okay, sweet.
Okay,
well,
cool.
I guess that's happening.
Oh, and by the way, the game's coming out Tuesday. It's like, oh, okay, cool. I love that they're doing that.
What was it? The latest Smash update 3.0 that included the stage maker, and then it also included Joker as the new fighter. They just dropped that direct at 10 p.m. Eastern time.
Right.
It was like 9 p.m. and I was like, what the fuck? I just went on YouTube randomly. What the fuck? Direct? Is this April Fool's? And it's like,
right.
Nope. It was literally Joker's moveset and his in-game rendering for the first time ever. And it was like, yeah, by the way, tomorrow.
Yeah. Good morning. Like, good morning from Japan, motherfuckers.
Seriously. That was a surprise for sure.
It's the land of the rising sun, bitches. We'll do what we want. It's morning here. We're gonna play.
Yeah.
You want to stay up all night? That's on you.
What was kind of your favorite thing about E3? Was it like the Nintendo? Was it FF7?
No, it was Link's Awakening.
Maybe? Link's Awakening. Yeah.
Even though we've already seen some of it, even though I knew it was coming, it just turned out even better than I could have hoped for.
Link's Awakening has me. I don't know if it was my favorite, but it probably gave me the maybe tied for FF7.
Yeah, I was gonna say FF7 was huge, but I think at this point my excitement is equaled by my reservations, just because it's so uncertain, and I don't know why Square has this weird relationship with its fans where they just won't give you straight answers anymore. Because
no.
Well, I know why. It's because
they know why.
They themselves don't know what they're gonna do.
They either
I'd rather
know
just
or
them
they
say
know,
that.
they know what your reaction is going to be.
And so they don't want to say it, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Which just makes them seem dodgy.
Yeah, it does, and because they are being dodgy, and it
Dude,
sucks,
I just stole a fucking
you know?
pair of Dragoon boots. That was awesome.
Yeah, have fun jumping now.
Yeah, right? Guess Edgar's gonna jump from now on.
You got to get a spear for. I think yeah, for whatever. If you have a spear with the jump,
It's like double damage or something. But yeah, Edgar's definitely got a spear. Oh, did I?
the FF7.
I lost
demo,
you there. I
followed
lost you
by
there. Oh, hold on a second.
Just a lot of things
Max,
from the
I lost you there for a second. Go ahead and start over. Oh, I lost you again. Shit.
for a while.
Okay,
I think you're coming back now,
still there?
sort of. Give it
Okay.
some time.
This may be where we want to call the episode, just because I know these moods that Discord gets into. Okay, yeah, that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna finish up this battle here. Next time, Max and I are probably gonna gush a little bit more about Link's Awakening, but in the meantime, everyone, I hope you have enjoyed this restart of FF6 here, and yeah, looking forward to getting deeper into this, and next time we'll see the famous opera scene, so...
Oh yeah. Oh, by
Yeah.
the way, I'm back.
Hey, Max is back. All right, just in time.
You've been coming in pretty well for like 15 seconds, but yeah, there was like a good 45 seconds or so that it just kind of. So I was like, I don't know if I was talking over you or what.
Probably, but it wasn't coming through on my end, so the recording won't be weird.
Okay, good.
But yeah, that's where we'll leave it for right now. Looking forward to next time where we get to like literally the most famous scene of the game. So
Yeah, and again, probably tied for. No, fuck it, it's my favorite part of the game.
it's really good. You know, it's melodramatic and chintzy and weird, but that's what Final Fantasy is. So
And yeah, perfect.
yeah. All right, dude. We will see you next time on Play the Hits.
All right, man. See you next time.
Have a good night.